Why would you want to go to cameo.com and have a personalized shout out? Come to nowondeck.com, find me, Ron Hall, and I'll do one just for you. Birthdays, anniversaries, whatever you want, a personalized video or audio greeting for you now on nowondeck.com. Hey, folks, didn't even get to do the opening. I am on the phone with my daughter right now. Let me see if I can get Amy on here. I got Blake Foster waiting. I see him there. We'll get to you in just a second, Blake, my man. How's it going, Amy? I know you.
They said that my levels on my sugar were okay. I wasn't going into DKA. I have withdrawals.
Well, that's the tough part of it. That is the toughest part. Folks, keep aim. Yeah. Hang on with me just a second, folks. I hope they can hear you. Folks, if you can hear my daughter, somebody give me a shout out. Go ahead, Amy.
Hello.
Just start talking.
Just wanted to say thank you for the kind words and the thoughts and the prayers and the donations, and most importantly, not judging me, because that's a lot of the reason why people never get this problem taken care of in the first place, because we feel like you're going to judge us.
Well, everybody is, yep. They can hear you, Coach Klein's wife, Kim, and your brother. All right. I will talk to you in the morning.
Just thank you all.
All right.
If you know somebody going through this, let them know you're not there to judge them. You're not there to make them feel worse than they already do. Because that's what people do. They make you feel worse, and they make you feel like you're less than a human being. They make you feel like you're a bad person and you're not worthy of getting help, and you're just not worthy, period. And people like that, people should never feel like that. Should never be scared to ask for help. And I waited 20 years to ask for the right kind of help. And ended up in some dark places because I was scared of being judged or scared to ask. So, if you know somebody, just help them. Don't judge them. Love them. Let them know you're there.
All right, sweetheart. I will talk to you in the morning. I love you.
Love you too.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Folks, we went a little bit skewy there, and Amy had called. She has very limited phone time. For those of you who don't know, she is at Park Ridge Valley, and right now she's undergoing detox, and it's been a tough road to hoe. So I want to bring this guy in right now, and he is one of the all-time greats. And I'm going to say Hooterville because it's always going to be Hooterville. And that is Blake Foster, all-time great from Ooltewah High School. What's up, brother? Can you hear me, Blake?
I can't. I had to switch over to my laptop. Can you see me on there?
Well, we just lost Blake. We'll wait on him. Let's try him again. Are you
All right.
there?
Yeah, I can. I had to put you on my laptop. I had you on my phone. It wasn't working.
Oh, man. Folks, Blake Foster, I've known him for years. In fact, when he was in high school, I covered him at Ooltewah, and I was there the night he set the city single game rushing record, 24 carries, 359 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And I looked this up. Touchdown runs of 63, 53, 32, 32, and 19. Were you gassed when you came out of that game?
Yeah, actually, at halftime, we were. I had 301 yards at halftime, and I was pretty much puking at halftime because we had been running so much, and they were debating on putting an IV in me or not, and they just fed me some bananas, and I was drinking a lot of water, and we went back out. I don't even remember the score at halftime, but a lot of people don't even realize that to start that game, Central was actually beating us 14-0. It's not like we come out of the gate and just kind of destroyed them. They were beating us 14-0, and then I don't know, a switch just flipped, and we went, and it all went from there.
Yeah, and that to me, with all that was Ooltewah's had a lot of success the last several years, but it was you guys that really put Ooltewah on the map. Because I used to make fun of it and say for 50 years, Ooltewah was everybody's homecoming game. But Ted Gatewood got in there and it turned around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anybody that knows Ted Gatewood, he's a great offensive line coach. And we probably have one of the best offensive lines this area has seen, and I'll stand by that.
Howard Hale was on your line, wasn't he?
Howard Hale, you had Ryan Campbell, Justin Matherson, Chris Lowe, Meredith Campbell. That was the 5 offensive linemen. Then you had a fullback by the name of Zach Sanders, who's also an All-State.
Oh, my goodness. The Marco's Pizza guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really took off. It was my sophomore year was the first year Ooltewah had ever made the playoffs in its history. And my junior year, we went to the semifinals, and I think we got as high as number 2 in the state my senior year. But that was the first year we'd ever won the region. So that really started those 3 years, my sophomore, junior, senior year, we really picked up. And then that's when Ooltewah really became a program that was not a laughing stock of Chattanooga, if you will.
Those were fun days. I truly enjoyed coming up there to cover ball games, both for the Red Zone and for the late great Stump Martin. We got that, but now you have a new passion that a lot of folks around here are really into, and you're on the dirt track all weekend. What brought about Blake Foster driver?
Well, a lot of people don't know because a lot of people just knew football Blake Foster. But when I was 16 years old, we started driving hobby class at Cleveland Speedway. We'd race at Boyd's, and obviously Cleveland's no longer there anymore. So I raced as a teenager for many years, and even a couple of years after I got out of high school. And then we just kind of walked away from that and met my wife. We got married, and then last year we got back into it. And we have been running this year. Obviously, we had to deal with COVID at the beginning of the year, but dirt tracks have opened back up to a certain degree. And we're running super late model. We're running the top class that you can run. And we're having a good time with it at this point. I mean, family goes and we race when we can, where we can. And obviously it's a very expensive sport. So a lot of that plays into it as well. We've got some great sponsors that help us, and we're always, obviously looking for any other sponsors and that, that maybe want some advertising out of it. Boyd's has been closed for a little while now, but they're fixing to open back up on September 25th for their first race back.
I'm going to have to come over there.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to mask up, put on some PPE, and come over there and watch.
Come to the pits. There's plenty of room to social distance.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've been living by social distancing since this hit. And you don't have to go into the exact details.
Right.
But to run a weekend, what's it going to cost to put that car on the track?
Well, I mean, by the time you pay for everybody to get in, your racing fuel is about $10 a gallon. So we'll run through about 20 gallons for one race. So, I mean, you could easily be, if you race one Saturday night, you're easily $500-$600 just to get going with tires and everything, plus wear and tear. Wear and tear on your motor is about $1 or $2 a lap. We'll run anywhere from 30 laps on a night to 50 laps on a night. So, I mean, it's going to cost you $500 or $600. And then that also depends on where you travel to race, your fuel getting there. And it takes a lot.
Let's see, was it North Georgia Speedway not too long ago? That's down in Chatsworth, right? Yeah.
We raced in Chatsworth, not this past weekend, the weekend that we're currently in, but the weekend before. We raced at North Georgia Speedway. Had a pretty good night for their first night back. They had not raced at all this year. We had a good night, qualified 5th, and then I made a little bit of a driver error in the feature race and fell back to 7th. But we had a good car. It was a little slick that night, so that makes it a little more tough. But we had a good night that night.
Every track around here, see, when I was growing up, Boyd was asphalt.
Yeah.
And
many years ago.
I mean, I am officially old, but are there any asphalt tracks left?
There is. Up in Kingsport, there's an asphalt track. In Huntsville, there's an asphalt track. It's not as big in East Tennessee and Georgia. Dirt tracks they're everywhere. Before Cleveland closed within Chattanooga for dirt tracks, you had Cleveland Speedway, Boyd Speedway, you had Atomic in Knoxville, 411 in Knoxville, Smoky Mountain in Merrillville. Then you got Fort Payne. You have North Georgia Speedway in Chatsworth, Boyd's, Dixie in Woodstock, Rome, Georgia. I mean, they're everywhere.
Man, I hated to see Cleveland Speedway close down. One, because they called me and asked me if I wanted to come to work up there on the weekends. And I got to thinking, I've never done racing.
Most dirt track announcers are very colorful. Everybody has a nickname, and they have all these sayings and slogans. And you've got to be very creative and very colorful if you're going to be a commentator.
Yeah. Whereas in college football, you can be colorful to a point.
Yeah.
Because the ref radios up and said he needs to calm down some.
Yeah.
But do you see yourself progressing?
I mean, obviously we would like to. I mean, you know me, Ron. I'm a competitor. I like to compete in anything. You want to play a game of horse in the yard, I'm gonna win. I mean, that's what I'm out. But, and
Yeah.
you can ask my kids. I don't cut them no slack, but unless except for the little girl, I cut her a little slack. But
She'll be a softball player probably.
well, she's pretty athletic, actually. I think if she was a boy, she would probably be one of my best athlete. But she's pretty athletic, and we'll see. We'll see. I pretty much let them choose what they want to do and what direction they want to go, and just kind of get behind them. But to your question, I mean, I would like to progress, but a lot of that, in order to progress, it takes, like football. You can put in hard work and you've got talent. You can make it to another level. Racing, it takes talent, takes hard work, and it also takes money. Sometimes you just can't outrun money, and that's what it comes down to a lot of times.
Well, put your number out there.
Yeah,
and let people know if they want to sponsor. Call them. Call Blake.
You can find my Facebook page, Blake Foster Racing. You can find it, and you can message me, and I'll give you my phone number. We'll get in contact and see if it's a fit. I don't ever try to push anything on anybody unless it fits their business and it benefits their business.
Now, are you still coaching youth football?
I am. I'm a very busy man.
Yeah.
15-year-old in high school that plays for Heritage High School. And I've got an 11-year-old that the E.K. Slaughter, the head coach of Heritage, him, myself, and Chris Hott, who is a assistant coach at Heritage, and Coach Broom, who's an assistant coach at Heritage. We all have kids the same age. So we decided to join together and have our own 11U team. And so we are playing in a battleground league down here in North Georgia. And it's going well. I mean, the kids are getting quality coaching from guys that know football and that can teach them the fundamentals of football. And they're going to have these kids, they're 11 now, and EK and Chris and all them, they're going to be coaching these kids all the way through high school now. So they're going to be very, very familiar with the system. I expect big things out of this age group.
And that's the key to having a successful high school program, is bringing them all up under the same system. Now,
exactly.
For many years, you were involved in the Scenic City Youth Football League, and they elected not to have a season.
Right.
How big a blow will that be to youth football in Chattanooga?
As far as youth football, I don't think it's as critical for a youth football, a kid, say 7, 8 years old, say misses a year of football because of it closing. I don't think it's absolutely, and I may shock a lot of people with this, but I'm not a huge proponent of the 5, 6, 7-year-old, 8-year-olds playing contact football. And I know that sounds crazy because I loved contact. But now that we know what we know now, I think it's very risky. I don't think there's anything wrong with a kid not even becoming into contact football till 5th or 6th grade. It's just so risky for their head. And even though helmet technology has come so far, kids are just not prepared for some of the contact that they get out there, especially when their bodies haven't been developed or anything. But so I don't think it's detrimental to them. Now, for a high school kid, I think it would be a little more detrimental if they missed a year, especially if it's their senior year.
So, you talk about helmet safety, the racing helmet, your safety inside that car. We've seen on the NASCAR level since Dale Earnhardt passed, how safety has become the number one thing. In your time on the track, how safe is it?
Well, I mean, we wear the same fire suit that the NASCAR guys wear. We wear the same helmets, except our helmets are made by the same manufacturer, but they're more designed for dirt because it's open air. So there's a little more aerodynamics that play into it. But we wear Hans device, which is exactly what NASCAR wears. Our seats are a little different, where their seats are a little more of a cocoon. Ours is a full wraparound, full containment seat, but it's just not quite as big as theirs. But as far as safety goes, I don't feel on a dirt car that we're any less safe than maybe, I won't say, I know NASCAR technology and the research that they do is the highest standard. And a lot of that trickles down to us. But I don't ever concern for my safety as far, I mean, my biggest fear is probably fire. But we have fire suppression systems on our cars that would battle that. And most tracks have good track officials that can get there in time in case there was a fire. We have fuel cells that if they were to turn over, they cap themselves so no fuel can flow out of it. I mean, the safety aspect, it's pretty high considering. I feel like I am safer in my race car than I am in a personal vehicle driving down any road in Chattanooga.
Especially Shallowford and Gun Barrel on a weekend.
Absolutely.
The mall traffic.
Yes.
Is Eldora still the gold standard for dirt tracks?
Most definitely. It is the biggest. It's the best facility, and it puts on the best races. Eldora is owned by Tony Stewart. If you haven't been lately, it's even bigger than it was years ago. At the two races that they hold for late models, there'll be 30 and 40,000 fans there at the race, paying $100,000, $50,000 to win. Obviously, we are not to that level. We need a whole lot more finances to get to that level. But Dale McDowell, who has won the World 100 and the Dream, that's his level, and he's got the money behind him. He obviously has the talent. It's the gold standard. I mean, it's got the big screens and everything else, and it's the racetrack to be at.
That leads into the next one. On a typical race night in this area, what's the winner going to walk away with?
Anywhere from your local show, if it's just a regular race, you're probably racing for $1,200, $1,300. The race that will happen at Boyd's on September 25th, we're going to be racing, I think, for $3,000. So on any given weekend within an hour and a half of the house, you can race for anything for $3,000 to $5,000.
So the possibility to make some decent money is there.
Yeah. If you've got some sponsors to help fund your day-to-day expenses of tires and everything, yeah, the actual driver could make a little money, but they're going to have to finish first or second.
Now, you do all of this and have a regular job.
Oh, yes. This is not what I do for a living. I have a regular job. I work for an $18 billion corporation, and I'm over the state of Georgia. And they're one of my sponsors, Wesco. We're an electrical distributor. We sell to like EPBs and North Georgia EMCs. So that's my regular job.
Man, I tell you what, it's got to be a fun life, though. One, you're with your family all week long.
It's a busy life, but it's a fun life.
I'm telling you. Blake, thanks for joining us tonight. This has been a blast. We will do it again.
Thank you.
That way we can have some fun when that day comes that Ooltewah will compete for a state championship, although in Tennessee it's hard to do. Hamilton County is so behind the eight ball against all the other systems because there's no money.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thank you, Blake.
Always have been.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hope your daughter's well.
Well, it's going to be a process. That's why I've got the brick wall behind me, because treatment, you run up against a brick wall. Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Dale. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, buddy. What a fun time with Blake Foster. And I'm telling you, there have not been many high school football players in this area as good as Blake Foster. Folks, you heard Amy in the beginning. It has been a rough few days. The withdrawals that she is going through from crystal meth is just, oh my goodness, it is incredible. The pain, the nausea, and everything else she's having to deal with on a minute-to-minute basis. The outpouring of folks supporting her is something that we will never forget. You folks, the Mock softball family, they have just unbelievably supported her. We thought for a while this afternoon we were going to have to hospitalize her because she was going into diabetic ketoacidosis, but she's not. So it's just wait while we still try to find a rehab facility. Now, this weekend it's been tough because it's the holiday weekend, and we hope everybody has had a great Labor Day weekend and that you've enjoyed it with your friends, with your family, with whoever else. And I see Hunter Caulfield out there, former quarterback at Ridgeland, and I'm going to reach out to him because he is turning into quite the artiste. And he put a link up to his latest release, Have To by Orion Hunter and Mike Jett. So give it a listen. I've played his stuff at the ballpark before and got a really good reaction from folks who were actually paying attention to the music that was being played before the game started. Couple of updates. My buddy Corey Levin was cut by the Chicago Bears. That was the third team in the NFL he's been with, but his career is not over. I'm privy to some information, and don't be surprised if you see him with the greatest coach in the history of professional football. Don't be surprised. What else is going on out there, folks? What is going on out there with you guys? I mean, I see Alan. Who else is out there tonight? Who else is joining us tonight? Thursday night, we will have Jen Lambert from Nougat Radio 92.7. I do not know if she is out there. I know she'll be watching before the end of the night. She'll watch the repeat. And she'll be here Thursday night. One night next week, good Lord willing, we're going to try to set up with the Southern League Hall of Fame broadcaster and the voice of Chattanooga women's basketball, Larry Ward, will be joining us in an upcoming edition of Jump Into the Fire. Thoughts and prayers out to mine and Alan's good friend, Melissa Baskett, whose father fought the valiant fight against COVID. And unfortunately, he succumbed yesterday. He had been in ICU since August 19th. And they did everything possible. And it's like the entire family urges, please wear a mask. And I noticed some of the highlights from the Ridgeland game Friday night. And I have seen several schools where this wasn't the case. Even the cheerleaders were wearing masks at Ridgeland. I know it sounds like I'm a Ridgeland shill, But when somebody does it the right way, they should be applauded. They had senior night, and more of the schools are doing senior night early because we don't know how long the season's going to last. Mox volleyball, one and only match will be Saturday against Georgia State. The soccer team, their one and only match for the season, also will be against Georgia State. It will be Sunday at the UTC Sports Complex, which is down by Ingle Stadium. It has been so hectic, my brain is dead. Please, I'm going to ask you again, find the GoFundMe post on my Facebook and share it with as many people as you possibly can, because what we are terrified of, we are looking for help, but we may end up having to pay for Amy's rehabilitation. And it's not going to be cheap. And we need all the help we can get. She has struggled since the moment she was admitted to Park Ridge Valley. Tomorrow will be her 5th day there. And there have been several times when she's called me, when she's allowed to use the phone. Come and get me, come and get me, come and get me. That is the withdrawal speaking, because she is jonesing for crystal meth so freaking badly. I made the Twitter post yesterday. I will never watch Breaking Bad the same way again. Because we are seeing firsthand what crystal meth does to people. That's why I've got the brick wall back here. Because that's what we run into, are brick walls. Kim, will you tell Kip I have spoken to Chris McDaniel, and he's on board trying to find somewhere. There is a place he talked about that is down in Adairsville, and then there's another one in Athens, Tennessee. And this is going to be a long-term recovery for Amy. She could be in rehab for up to a year, because we do not want to take the chance of her coming out and relapsing. It's just too dangerous. And I'm going to express my severe disappointment in the local representation of Hamilton County and Walker County, because they don't give a damn. The state representatives in North Georgia obviously don't give a damn. Even in Whitfield County, Hamilton Medical Center closed their mental health facility, closed their rehab facility. There is no mental health service available in Walker County, Georgia, except for Lookout Mountain Community Services. And that's it. And it's all done on an outpatient basis. If you're in crisis, you're screwed. If you live in Walker County, you're screwed if you live in Catoosa County. And damn it, if I have to move to Georgia and run for office, I got nothing else to lose. Folks, I turned 64 years old yesterday. And this was one of the gifts from my son. It's iced tea. It's not beer. But, you know, and it's like I told Amy, she got upset yesterday because she couldn't do anything for my birthday. And I said, you being where you are is the greatest birthday gift I could ever receive. So, folks, please keep her in your thoughts and prayers, your positive energy, whatever you want to call it, because the battle has just begun. And we got a long way to go. Again, please, I think the GoFundMe page is Help for My Mom. If not, find it. It's on my Twitter. It's on my Facebook. Please share it with your friends. Please share it. We need all the resources we can possibly get to beat this thing. And make sure she has a great life ahead of her. But don't forget, try the Crystal Barbecue. It's not half bad. No coleslaw, but what the hell? You know. And there's Barry Schultz, who I've known for quite a while when he was with Channel 9. And he says it in a nutshell. No one gives a, hey, we're on YouTube Live, so nobody gives a shit about mental health. If we could take care of those, we would have a better country. And that's the thing. Mental health is an afterthought. When there are millions upon millions of people with mental health problems that are just undiagnosed because there's no help out there. So check your insurance coverage to see if it covers mental health benefits. Excuse me. I neglected to mention the passing of Tom Seaver, one of the greatest pitchers that have ever lived, with the New York Mets and the Cincinnati Reds. The passing of Lou Brock. Until Ricky Henderson came along, Lou Brock was the stolen base king. It is amazing as you get older, the people you look up to passing. And it just makes you realize life is short and you better damn live it and you better enjoy it. Help those who need help. Support your family. Love one another. Because we damn sure have a better world. Because right now, this world is set up. It's either you or them. And I don't know why that has happened, that everyone seems so militant about their side of an argument. There can't be any discussion. And it just baffles me that people just can't sit down. And if they have a difference of opinion, agree to disagree. If you have a friend that you do not agree with their politics, don't frickin' discuss politics with them. Discuss anything but politics. Don't try to convince that you're right and they're wrong. Let people believe what they want to believe. But it's like I made the post. We have received some criticism for making Amy's story public. I'm going to clue you in on something. Just because you think you're better than someone else, that you have a position in life that makes you believe that you're actually better than someone. And yeah, that was real attractive, wasn't it? Do not think for 1 minute that mental illness or addiction will spare your family. Just because you have a great position in life, your children are perfect. They wouldn't do anything. Only trash does drugs. Only trash does drugs. Only trash has a mental illness. It's happened to our family. We've kept Amy's addiction quiet for 20 years because she started using when she was 15 years old. And people are criticizing us for going public. It's what Amy wanted to do, to let people know just how bad this is. So for those of you who are critical, who think you're better than everybody else, just because you live in a big fine house and you send your youngins to private schools and all of that, and criticize me and my daughter for making this public, I only got 3 words for you. You can kiss my ass. Okay? So put that in some rolling papers and smoke it. But we will be back Thursday night. Good Lord willing, knock on wood. I got to do that because, I don't want to hit the brick wall because I might bruise my knuckles, and that wouldn't be good. But again, Cindy, I'm sorry. I'm just now seeing you out there. Thank you. Are an amazing human being. But thanks, Alan. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Alan. And anybody else that I may have missed tonight. You guys are amazing. And good Lord willing, we will be back Thursday night right here at 7 o'clock. If, I'm probably boring the hell out of you with the updates on Amy, but I think everybody really wants to know. So until Thursday night at 7 o'clock, when we will be joined by Jen Lambert from Nougat Radio 92.7, remember, be kind to each other.
That's all, folks.
Why would you want to go to cameo.com and have a personalized shout out? Come to nowondeck.com. find me, Ron Hall, and I'll do one just for you. Birthdays, anniversaries, whatever you want, a personalized video or audio greeting for you now on nowondeck.com.